Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to make gluten-free black velvet cake. Believe it or not, this cake has no food coloring in it whatsoever. That black color is all from black cocoa. If you've ever had an Oreo, who hasn't, right? You already know the flavor of black cocoa. It's cocoa that's been ultra Dutch processed, which just means all of the acidic qualities have been removed, resulting in a less bitter, milder chocolate flavor. This cake is baked with and frosted with black cocoa and has a creamy, dreamy, marshmallowy buttercream in between the layers. So let's get into it and I'll show you how to make it. To make the cake, we'll start by adding 1 3/4 cups or 345 grams of Kim's gluten-free all-purpose flour blend to the bowl of a stand mixer, or you can do this in a large bowl with a handheld mixer. And I'll add to that 2/3 cup or 80 grams of black cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1 2/3 cups or 340 grams of granulated sugar. And I'll just give this a quick mix just to combine everything. Now you can find black cocoa powder online. Amazon always has it, and I think a few other places as well. I'll leave a link for it. Now I'll start adding in the liquid ingredients, beginning with a half a cup or 120 grams of either vegetable oil or any other neutral oil. Avocado oil would work very well here. 2 large eggs that are at room temperature. 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. And 1 cup or 240 grams of whole fat buttermilk. Now this mixture is going to start out very thick, y'all, but then I'm going to add in 1 cup or 240 grams of nearly boiling hot coffee. You can substitute with hot water if you'd like to, but I always use coffee in any of my chocolate cakes because it really does bring out that chocolate flavor. Okay, I'm going to stop here and finish adding the coffee in by hand because this beater blade really wants to fling batter everywhere. And it's black and I just ain't having it. I gave my daughter my old KitchenAid mixer and the only non-scraper beater blade I had. So I really need to focus on getting a new one when I think about it. But I never think about it until now. Once all the coffee or water is in, give it a really good whisk. And as you can see, the batter is really thin, and that's exactly how it should be. You want it nice and thin. I've got 3 6-inch round cake pans here that have been greased with butter all over, and then I put a parchment circle into the bottom. But you could also bake this in 2 8-inch round cake pans. I like the taller look myself with the smaller cake pans, but you do you. My oven is preheated to 350 Fahrenheit, and I'll bake these for about 32 to 36 minutes. I always check at the lower end, so 32 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out mostly clean or with just the tiniest bit of crumbs still attached. You definitely don't want it wet though. So while these are baking, I'm going to start on the buttercream. What I like to do first for any kind of cocoa buttercream is to bloom the cocoa first, which just means put it in some hot water or hot liquid of some kind. And again, I'm using coffee in this instance. I've got a half a cup or 56 grams of black cocoa, and I'll start off by adding 2 tablespoons of very hot coffee, and then also my vanilla. This is about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I'll begin mixing, and I can already tell I'm gonna need more hot coffee, so I'll grab 2 more tablespoons. So that's a total of a quarter cup or 60 grams of hot coffee. Again, you can use hot water, but trust me on the coffee thing. It truly makes everything chocolatey better. What I'm looking for with this is a nice smooth paste. And the reason I'm doing this is it just blends so much better into the rest of the buttercream. I'll need to let this cool to room temperature or it's going to melt the butter in the buttercream, and we don't want that. So let me get my cakes out of the oven. These are done. They're very light, and I've let them cool for about 5 minutes in the pans. And I'll just take them out of the pans and then allow them to cool completely on the wire rack. So we can finish making the buttercream. I have 3 sticks or 1.5 cups, which is also 340 grams of softened butter in the bowl of my stand mixer. And I'll just start this out creaming on its own a little first. This recipe is based on my go-to American buttercream recipe, y'all. That is always such a huge hit with everyone because it's just not overly sweet. It has equal amounts by weight of butter and powdered sugar, unlike most American buttercream recipes that use a ton more sugar than this one. So I'll add the powdered sugar a little at a time, which is also 340 grams or 2 3/4 cups. And I'll get that well mixed in. And then I'll go ahead and add in the cooled, bloomed cocoa paste. And I'll give it a mix just to incorporate it. And then I'm going to stop and scrape down the bottom and sides really well. Now I'll just turn it up to medium high and let it go for like 2 to 3 minutes. This is what really makes it light and fluffy. And you'll see when I do this that it doesn't look so black anymore, but don't worry about it. As it sits, it really darkens, and I promise you, you're gonna have a fully black cake when all is said and done. And no black food coloring. I used to hate trying to achieve like a true black color and frosting and have to use like nearly an entire bottle of food coloring to do it. And now don't have to anymore because of this black cocoa. I just love it. I wrapped my cakes up earlier so they would stay moist after they cooled, y'all, and they're almost too soft to decorate right now. That goes to show you how nice and soft this cake is, but I'm just gonna go with it, y'all. I always put a little smear of frosting on my cake circle before I add the first layer, and that's just to ensure it doesn't slide all over the place. Now you don't have to do this. You can put the black buttercream as the filling, but I'm filling this cake with the most luxurious and luscious marshmallow buttercream known to man, y'all. It's from my oatmeal cream pies video, so go watch that if you want to see how I make it. Otherwise, the recipe for it is written within the recipe for this cake. See, I wanted a kind of like an Oreo cookie effect, complete with the cream filling on this cake. But you do you. If you want to do black buttercream all the way through and have it completely black, go for it. I'm not the world's best cake decorator, y'all. There are people way out of my league on this stuff. I do it now more for the taste than the looks, so I'm not the person you want to pay attention to if you want like the really true smooth and straight sides, because my cakes are just, I'd rather have them taste wonderful and not worry so much about getting perfectly smooth sides. But because these cakes are so soft and fresh right now, I'm gonna actually stick these in the fridge for just like, or the freezer actually, for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just so they're a little more sturdy and they don't wobble around so much. Much, much better. Now I'll grab my black buttercream and just cover this cake with a crumb coat first. And then I'll chill it again and finish with the final coat. I wanted to make these spider webs and they're so cool, y'all. It's totally optional, but it's super easy to do. Just take about 25 to 30 mini marshmallows or like 2 to 3 large ones. Make sure they are fresh, and I'll tell you why in a second. And put them in the microwave for like 20 to 30 seconds, just until they're nearly melted, and then stir them to finish melting them. And truth be told, I tried this yesterday on my cake and it didn't go so well. And that's because my marshmallows weren't fresh enough. They were in my pantry for a little bit longer than I want to even say. So I got new ones today, and these are much, much better. They're nice and fresh. So when the marshmallow is cool enough to handle, you don't want it to be too cool because then it won't work, but still pretty warm. Take some between like your thumb, index, and middle finger of both hands, and then just stretch it apart and then onto the cake like this. And just keep doing that as much as you want, as little as you want. And it just gives that spider web or cobweb effect, y'all. It is so, so cool to me anyway. Y'all, the cream filling in the center of this, it is so freaking good. And this cake is just beyond soft and moist. Everyone's favorite word, I know. And the buttercream is silky smooth and luxuriously chocolatey. If it doesn't remind you of an Oreo when you're eating it, only like 1,000 times better, then I just don't even know you. It's spooktacular, y'all. Enjoy.